Welcome back, everybody, to another session of Free Mind Thinkers. And let's just dive right into it. In case you're new to it, I will first introduce myself. I am your man, Big Brother Tucker, and I want to discuss something that's getting on my damned nerves: gun control. Gun control, more gun control.
I don't think the guns are a good idea.
Marge, we're responsible adults.
Whoops.
And if a group of responsible adults can't handle firearms in a responsible way.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Me again. Sorry.
Why is it that the people with the least amount of experience, knowledge, and showing lacking of intelligence on this subject have the greatest platforms and the loudest megaphones on this topic? Apparently, most of these people, and not seeing most of these people, these are the ones I'm talking about, as I just said. No experience, no knowledge, and hell, guaranteed most of them have never even shot a gun. These people will give you the idea of this nation is the wild, wild west. No, it ain't. Not even here in my wonderful home state of Texas, where we have a thing called constitutional carry. And what that means is you no longer need a license to walk around with a firearm. But even that, and please look into it for yourself, because it would take far too much time to go into all the intricacies, ins and outs of explaining how that works. But even that comes with restrictions. Even that. People, you can walk around with it all you want to, but there are certain places that you still can't go unless you have a license. And even people with licenses can't go into particular places. You see, I'm going to stop myself there because, again, it's a rambling thing. But the point of it being, these people that are screaming gun control, we need more gun control. Damn it, there's plenty of it. Y'all are actually the problem that exists is the problem of the person. It is a societal problem. It is a mental issue problem. It has nothing to do with the gun. Zero. As my other content creator, Eric D. July, Young Ripper 59, has said, my brothers and I have often said, our guns have yet to come out of their secure locations, load themselves, go to a high volume, high traffic, high occupancy area and start shooting those people there. Our guns have not loaded themselves up, got in a car, drove somewhere, found a place where there are children, and started shooting up the area. No, guns do not do that. People do that. Yet you have dumbasses, and I mean utter dumbasses, spewing some of the greatest bullshit nonsense I've heard in quite some time on a topic. Case in point, there was a senator speaking on this matter who says 18-year-olds are too young for guns because they are not mentally ready, not mature enough to handle firearms. But when pressed on it, he won't raise the age to enlist to 21 if that's how he feels. I won't say any more. I'll let this segment speak for itself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Title I of this gun control bill would raise the age to purchase a firearm from an FFL from 18 to 21 if it's basically a modern rifle or a modern shotgun. The problem with this is the Constitution covers individuals beginning at the age of 18, not at the age of 21, and so does the Second Amendment quite clearly. But the insult to injury comes when we tell these 18, 19, and 20-year-olds that they can die for their country, that they can sign up, they can use a firearm, they can be shot at, and they can give their lives for their country to protect the freedoms and to protect the Constitution, yet they themselves will not be able to enjoy the rights protected under that Constitution.
The purpose of this section of the bill is precisely to prevent people 18 years of age through 20 until 21 to purchase firearms, because there is a massive body of research that shows that 18 through 20-year-olds, having not completed the maturation of parts of their brains, are far more likely to engage in violence than people older than that. So on that grounds, I oppose the amendment. Gentleman is recognized.
You just said that they're not mature enough to make this kind of decision. But these, if I'm not mistaken, the Democrats are wanting younger people to actually vote. When 16-year-olds to decide who gets to make the laws in this country, but oh no, 18-year-olds can't purchase a firearm. And now we're saying that if you sign up for selective service and, as Mr. Massey indicated, will go defend your country, you're not qualified for the rights in that very Constitution you're going to take an oath if you join our military to defend. So this is just another good amendment from the gentleman from Kentucky, and I would yield to him to talk.
Yield for a moment.
Sure.
Would the chairman join me in co-sponsoring a bill to raise the draft age to 21?
No.
But the chairman feels that their brains aren't fully formed at 18, 19, and 20.
The research does indicate that in certain respects, but the selective service needs, I mean, if the country needs people, it needs people.
It needs people whose brains aren't fully formed?
In certain respects, yes.
I yield back.
That is the stupidity that is leading this nation. He literally, openly, and I'm telling you, halfway through he realized it, contradicted himself. He openly said, no, we don't need smart people in the military. We don't need smart people to go out there and die for the country and die on command and die on orders. No, we don't need that at all. He believes there should be an increase in age to purchase a firearm, but not to learn to go kill a man. Now, me personally, I've had this, I felt this way for a long time. I said at 18, you can join the military and go die for your country on a foreign soil. At 18, you have the legal right to decide the leader of this nation, which translates to the leader of the free world. But all of a sudden, y'all want to put restrictions on it. Either you is or you ain't. And yes, I'm sorry, my dear departed mother and grandmother. I know I'm using poor English. Forgive me. It's for effect. But either you is or you ain't. You're either an adult at 18 or you're not an adult at 18. Because me personally, I'm all for lowering the drinking age because it hasn't proven to be super effective against drunk driving. Most of the drunk drivers that go out and kill somebody aren't kids. So I'm trying to understand, either you're ready or you're not. These are the things I mean when I say dumbasses. That was a dumbass statement. Raise the age on being able to purchase a gun, but I'm not going to raise the age that will allow you to join the service and be able to use one more effectively than a guy out here on the street. That is their dumbass thought process when it comes to gun reform or gun control or gun laws. And let me be real clear right here. This isn't about gun reform or gun laws. I want to use that other term I just used, gun control. They want control. They want to be like Canada so bad that they actually have a hard-on for it. They saw what Canada just did. They saw what their tyrant leader, the maniacal king, Canada's maniacal king, they just saw what Justin Trudeau did, and oh man, they can taste it. The Libs, the Democrats, the progressive, oh, they can taste it. That is their ultimate goal. And in case you don't know what it is that that Canada just did. Oh, wait a second. I'll let you hear for yourself. And just check out. This is what the progressive, liberal, democratic left wants to do here in America.
And before we're joined by our next guest, I want to consider how a real democracy actually handles gun issues and changes to gun laws. Consider what Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had to say about guns in Canada. Listen to this.
2 years ago, our government banned 1,500 models of assault-style weapons, including the Ruger Mini-14 used at Polytechnique and the AR-15. We also expanded background checks to keep firearms out of the wrong hands. We did it because it was what responsible leadership required us to do. And now, as we see gun violence continue to rise, it is our duty to keep taking action. So today, we're moving forward. We're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. In other words, we're capping the market for handguns.
Yeah, Canada did that. Canada said that they are banning all firearms from their nation. They said that. That's what Trudeau is doing. And if that's how his country wants to do things, so be it. His country, that's his kingdom. He rules his people his way. But that's not going to fly here in America. And in my belief, one of the reasons it won't fly here in America is Canada. Because, see, we saw what happens when a people can't fully fight back. They can't go all gung-ho and fight back. We saw the tyrannical steps Trudeau took when people protested the policy about mandatory COVID vaccines. He started calling the truckers that were the instigators of this protest terrorists. All they did was park their vehicles and wouldn't move and honk their horns. He called them terrorists. He started spreading falsehoods about them. He sent the police to go arrest people that were parked and honking their horns. Go arrest them. Go seize the accounts of anybody that is donating to that count, to that cause. That's what happens when you take away a people's ability to fight back, to arm themselves against a tyrannical government. That was the foundation of the Second Amendment here in America, to arm ourselves against a government, against a tyrannical regime that would rule unfairly and unjustly. And the fact that they keep pressing that they want to take them away gives me a reason to want more. And there is something that is not being discussed about this gun control thing. But before I hit that point, let's go to other complete idiots when they talk about reasons for gun control. Who can we go to? Who is the biggest jackass out there? Oh, wait, don't have to look far. Let's go to Whoopi Goldberg and her dumbass statements.
There's a lot that we need to look at as a society about what's going on here that's leading them to that.
You gotta do is keep the guns.
Yes, but
the guns out.
I understand. Listen, I understand that, but it's not as easy when you have a country that has more guns than people. You're not going to be able to just ban all the guns.
It is easy, but the things that you could say to people, which we don't say on this show, the things you could wish on people that we don't wish on this show to people, because we know. We've all met people who have had to deal with the death of a loved one at the hands of a gun.
100%.
And you can say, well, I wish they had more mental health checking. But people who don't see the need to remove one gun, the people who don't see a need to remove that, we'll never see the need to make sure that
Whoopi,
people
the other
get the
side
help.
of it is that even if you remove the AR-15, then they can use handguns. Virginia Tech, the guy used
Yes,
handguns.
but you know what? Let me tell you,
all I'm saying is it's not
a
just
handgun
one
does
thing.
not turn people to dust.
That's
It
true.
does not
I
turn
agree
people-
with you.
And
That dumbass broad said AR-15s turn people to dust. What the other person was arguing was a very simple point. Taking away the AR-15 will do minuscule. I mean, and I say this statistically speaking, a statistical insignificant amount to curb the amount of gun violence in this nation. She was going to say the Virginia Tech shooter used a handgun. And he does. Overwhelmingly, the majority of all gun crimes in this nation are done using handguns. Factual. Just straight up and down factual. As a matter of fact, according to statistics, people are killed more with knives than with AR-15 style automatic rifles. Statistically speaking, double the amount of people are killed using hands and feet in this nation than they are with automatic rifles. So what in the blue shit is this dingy ass broad talking about? If there was a Mount Rushmore of fucking idiots that are speaking on this topic, she would be the center head. Next to her would be dumbass President Joe Biden. Oh, wait a second. And if you want to know why I say that, here's more proof of why dumbass Joe Biden is the second head on the Mount Rushmore of idiots.
Fire, 100 shots. I mean, and I'll just conclude with this. Look, when I first started doing hearings on the issue of what rational gun laws should be, it was during the period when I was a senator and the death rate was going up. Not that many more people were being shot, but the death rate was up. I went, I think it was, I'm not sure, I think it was Common Hospital in New York, whatever the largest trauma hospital is. And I sat with a trauma doc. And I asked him, I said, what's the difference? Why are so many people, not that many more people are being shot? This is not 20 years ago, it was 25 years. I said, why are they dying? And they showed me a x-ray. He said, a 22 caliber bullet will lodge in the lung, and we can probably get it out, may be able to get it and save the life. A 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body. So the idea of these high caliber weapons is there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of about self-protection, hunting. I mean, and remember, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute.
That man said, the Second Amendment is not absolute. If that's the case, then no amendment is. If you don't just pick on one and say it's not absolute, well, hell, if that's the case, then no amendment is absolute. And that is the president of this nation. Side note, I didn't vote for that dumbass. That is the president of this nation who just literally took a loogie. He just on the Constitution. Now, I don't want that, so it ought to go. No, the reason that they don't want it is there's a direct opposition to what they want, which is absolute control. Like I told you a moment ago, they have a hard-on for what Canada has pulled off. Fact is, that shit just won't fly here. Now, he talked about a 22 bullet being lodged in a lung and a 9mm blowing the lung out. Straight up false. Dude. No, that is not the way firearms work. That's not the way bullets work. That's, again, the people that are speaking have no firearm experience. Because depending on the grain of that 22 round, the distance, that'll go through the lung too. But either way it goes, it won't blow it out. There are people that have survived AR-15 shootings. So I don't, like I said, head number 2 on the Mount Rushmore of idiots, Joe Biden. The man is an absolute moron. But I'm not through. Oh, I got one more for show to add to my Mount Rushmore of morons. And his name is Beto O'Rourke. Oh, this mother... Oh. Just Just listen to this idiocy.
And I just took the position that may not be politically popular, may be too honest, that not only should no one be able to purchase an AR-15 or an AK-47 because they're designed to kill humans, and that high-impact, high-velocity round will just tear up everything inside. You'll bleed out before we can get you back to life. But I don't think that the people who have them right now in civilian use should be able to keep them.
This dude said, you should not be able to own an AR-15. And isn't it odd that he and Biden are pretty much saying the same thing, just for two different kind of guns? And I'm like, wow, y'all are really killing something right now, ain't you? Where he said, you could bleed out before help gets to you. Yet, if you literally hit any major artery, you could bleed out. Hell, if you hit the right internal organ, they can be right there, and the internal bleeding is going to start. Again, people who don't know should not be allowed to speak. And that's why he goes up there as the head number 3 on the Mount Rushmore of idiots. Because he said something at the very beginning that I just simply cannot get past. He said that AR-15s are designed to kill humans. They're designed to kill people. What fucking gun is made that isn't designed? Okay, that's a bit hyperbolic because I can name a few just at that second. Trank gun, stun gun, paint gun. So let's eliminate those. But handguns and automatic rifles are designed to kill. When I had to take my LTC, which is license to carry here in Texas, my teacher, very, very good guy, he told us that at the very beginning, he says, I am going to dispel some myths right now. A lot of people, to make guns more acceptable, call them tools. He picked up his firearm, unloaded it, held it up and said, this is not a tool. This is a weapon. It is a weapon designed to kill. That's what a gun is for. A gun is designed to kill. So let's go ahead and make that the main theme, dumbass Beto. It is designed to kill. Going back, the first recorded use for a firearm was 1364. First firearm use was recorded back in 1364. And I guarantee you, when that dude made that musket, that long barrel rifle, he didn't make it thinking, I wonder what I can build with this. No, that was made to put down a threat, whether it be man or animal. Firearms are designed to kill, period. So to just say that is solely the purpose and design of the AR-15 is a blatant misnomer, blatant mischaracterization. All firearms, again, excluding the ones that are non-lethal, are designed to kill. And now that I've said that, that's why they have the non-lethal and the lethal. So people, let's just go ahead and stop that nonsense. Beto, shut the fuck up. Quit trying to make it like it is, the AR is so, yeah, the AR, the Winchester rifle, the Saturday Night Special. These are all things that are designed to at the very least hurt, but the intent is to kill. And see, let's go back to something that Biden said. Biden is talking about banning 9mm, the most common handgun in use. I'm willing to bet that they're on his that they're the armament of his Secret Servicemen. So I thought that that they were just talking about banning the automatic rifles. What happened? I will tell you what happened. What happens is the same thing that happens with every liar. If you let a liar speak long enough, they will tell on themselves. Just let them keep talking. They will tell on themselves. So the Democrats, via their leader Joe Biden, told on themselves, they just don't want your ARs. They just don't want to ban automatic rifles. No. They want all handguns. You heard Beto. Even the people that have them ought to have them taken away. Now, I'm not sure about the rest of America, but I consider myself a Texan before I consider myself an American. The first flag of the Texas Revolution, in case y'all didn't know, was a cannon painted on a white cloth with the words, "Come and take it." That's all you need to know about Texas and guns. Come and take it. I just don't get it. Partner, he's running for political office here in Texas. Ha ha! Good luck, dumbass. I don't see that happening. It's just not. They're blaming it all on the weapon instead of the people getting their hands on and wielding these weapons. Some people may make the argument, well, maybe if it wasn't as accessible. They're not necessarily selling them in vending machines. When you go buy a firearm, they do a background check for violent crime, make sure that your living history and things of that nature. What they cannot do is give you a psychiatric eval. They can't do that. The people in danger have no idea that this individual is a mental case. I say that to say that the people that are around him, when they interview them, how often do you hear this? Oh, well, he had been having problems, or they see how many times that the police have been called on him. They have a history of mental issues and things of that nature. Now, that is something I will fully back. I believe any time that the police have to call out or a person has to go to the hospital for mental issues, that ought to come up on a background check without hesitation. But it doesn't. That's the system's problem. You want to do that? Again, let's do that. I'm all for that. A more thorough background check for that? Again, I'm for that. There is also the call to hold the manufacturer responsible. That's right. Head number 2 on Mount Rushmore, your President Joe Biden, has said he wants to hold gun manufacturers liable for shootings. Listen to it.
We need to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. And if we can't ban assault weapons, then we should raise the age to purchase them from 18 to 21. Strengthen background checks. Enact safe storage law and red flag laws. Repeal the immunity that protects gun manufacturers from liability. Address the mental health crisis, deepening the trauma of gun violence and as a consequence of that violence. These are rational, common sense measures.
So y'all heard that right. Again, I'm going to work backwards. You see how he kind of threw mental health in there as an afterthought? That was the last thing. He put holding the gun manufacturers higher than mental health. He put safety and storage laws higher than mental health. The only thing that individual said that I concur with, better and deeper mental health background checks. That's it. That's it. Because that's where it is with me. It's your mental. Look, sadly, I know a guy, went to church with a guy who was all good coming up. Knew the kid from, 10, 12 years old till he became an adult. And when he became an adult, something happened. Something snapped. He ended up decapitating a man with a machete. Yeah, he decapitated a man with a machete. That didn't take a gun, but he did the damage just the same. He didn't need a firearm for that. That goes to mental health because he didn't run. If I remember correctly, he was the one who called the police or stayed there over the man's body asking for forgiveness. He wasn't well. No gun. Killed a man just running on the trail. So yeah, let's address the mental health issue, dumbass. Because if it's my weapon and I decide that I'm snapping one day, I've lost my mind, I'm going to go, take out however many, wherever, then that's what happens. A trigger guard and a lockbox is not going to prevent that. These are people that are just talking just to hear. They are saying things to appease the public. They're just throwing things out there with zero thought and rationale put behind them. Because in New York, with the whole lockbox thing, how do you enforce that? Oh, they may buy a lock box, they may buy a trigger guard, but once they get home, how do you make them use those items? Same thing with Beto O'Rourke's dumbass statement. We ought to go take their firearms. Do you understand the absolute carnage, devastation, and mayhem that you are inviting by uttering the statement, go take their gun? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to enforce it. Is someone is going to have to go home by home to all those people that have registered ARs, go knock on their door and say, hey, give me your gun. I'm not sure about the rest of America, but I can tell you how that's going to play out in Texas. It's just the solution is so layered. I mean, it's not just one thing. Oh, let's ban this and this will stop. When it's being shown time and again, that's not even the weapon used the most. And why is it that this only comes up with mass shootings? Chicago, LA, New York, these places with some of the strictest gun laws are exploding in gun violence, especially Chicago. But you only want to address this matter when newsworthy events happen. And let me be more specific on that. Even when the newsworthy events happen, they don't blow up unless they fit a narrative. You see, the truth of the matter is, there are several mass shootings that happen across this nation on almost a daily basis. But one of the problems is there is no one clear-cut definition for mass shooting. There are several. So, okay, I will give you one of the things that I found, and it simply says this. There is a lack of consensus on how to define a mass shooting. Most terms define a minimum of 3 or 4 victims of gun violence, not including the shooter, in a short period of time. Although an Australian study from 2006 prescribed a minimum of 5 victims and an added requirement that the victims actually die as opposed to being shot and injured, but not necessarily killed. In the United States, the Investigative Assistance for Violent Crimes Act of 2012 defines mass killings as 3 or more killings in a single incident. However, the act does not define mass shootings. Media outlets such as CNN and some crime violence research groups, such as the Gun Violence Archive, define mass shootings as involving 4 or more shot, injured, or killed in a single incident at the same general time and location, not including the shooter. Sometimes shootings involving 3 or more victims occur in non-public situations, such as when a family member shoots all other family members in the family home. These killings are known as family-sides and are not included in mass shooting statistics. So they can't even decide on what's truly the definition of a mass shooting. But if we use the FBI's, the United States, a general consensus on mass shootings, which is something of 3 or more victims at the same time, then here in the United States, Chicago must hold a record for mass shootings in a week. And that's what I mean of it doesn't fit the narrative. They talk about banning these AR rifles because, they are assault style weapons. And let me go back to this. I should have done this earlier. Any weapon can be considered an assault style weapon depending on how it's used. That's mostly my opinion, but it also depends on how it's configured. If I'll give you a case in point, I guess an average 9mm wouldn't be considered an assault style weapon until I assault somebody with it. The semantics of it are what are really killing me right now. That's what's really getting under my skin, because you have those the talking heads on the Mount Rushmore of morons, Goldberg, Biden, and O'Rourke, assault style weapons and high velocity. Well, brother, I don't know about any slow bullets. Have any of y'all ever seen a slow bullet? So they use these terms and these words to disturb, shake up, and scare those ignorant of gunfire guns, weapons, rounds, they use those words, assault style, high velocity, high caliber. They use those words to scare people. Because once you truly learn about guns, you learn, oh, okay, it's not as frightening or as dangerous or as, oh my God, we shouldn't have these as people think it is. I want y'all to see the hypocrisy. And what I say when you wonder why things aren't getting accomplished is because the extreme left are using buzzwords and things of that nature. And as I have shown you throughout this conversation, throughout this piece here, I have shown you the hypocrisy, the double talk, and the idiocy of the leftists and the politicians. We want to increase when you can buy a gun, but not when you can train to use them. We want you to ban ARs. The handguns are the primary weapon used to kill people. That's what I mean by pay attention and the narrative. All it is complete bullshit and a way to disarm this country's citizens. Don't fall for it, y'all. Don't fall for it. Because I have yet to see a nation take away a freedom and then give it back. That's going to do it for this segment of Free Mind Thinkers. If you like what you heard, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to hear more of it, go ahead, hit the subscribe while you're at it. And please feel free to comment on anything that you hear. And as we always say here at Free Mind Thinkers, listen less, learn more. Don't forget that you can find us on all your social media platforms. Getter, Gab, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute. And we are podcasts on several media platforms. Make sure you check out full episodes there in the podcast section or wherever you may get your favorite podcasts. Until the next time, y'all stay up.